Sounds on.
I'd like to call safety meeting to order. This morning there, I was glancing through the paper there and I usually don't look at it. Had it pop on the page with a horoscope and it said, watch out for arguments and negative vibes. I said, how appropriate.
You still want me in the room?
All right, is there a motion to accept the minutes? Have a motion from Jim, second from Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Sheriff is up first.
Good. Yeah, I think this argument started. Yeah, the first thing I had was recognize the Edward Byrne Memorial Assistance Grant from, actually, this came through Carrie Warner's office again. She's been very good to us. As you know, last year she got us $25,000. This is $10,000. And the intended use is, it's a hood that officers can use when they're processing or looking at drugs. And it has like a ventilation system on it. It's for safety purposes. Because we've actually had to Narcan 3 of our deputies in the last month and a half because they were exposed to fentanyl. And then they felt the effects of it. They went to the hospital, got checked out, they were okay. But this is a very timely grant, and it's that's the intent of it, is so that, you know, it's one of those things where you reach inside and the fumes don't come out. So just like to recognize that.
By Dana,
Second.
by Daryl, any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
The next is a budget item. I'd like to move some money into our jail kitchen overtime line. It's $26,000. That money came from state ready inmates that were in our custody forever, and the state does pay us for that. So we have, is it 26, Julie? Is that what the, yeah, it's $26,000 from the state. So I'd like to move that into the kitchen overtime line.
Motion to move that to finance. Jim, second by Daryl, all in favor?
Aye.
And then the other is also a budget item. I'd like to move $3,000 from a 0.2 to a 0.4 so that we can buy software. Can't buy that at a 0.2. That is also money that came from a grant. And the purpose is to buy the Power DMS scheduler program, which I believe public safety uses. We looked at it, and I think it'll work very good for us. You know, have a software program to do our scheduling. So it's $3,000.
A motion to move it to finance by Jim, second by Scott. Questions?
I have a question, Sheriff. Scheduling, what?
Scheduling patrols, scheduling everybody. So
Everybody.
yeah, like our different lines, and it's, you know, it's very cumbersome right now. Sergeants do it. Takes up a lot of the time.
Is it just scheduling or does it also include like an automated call-in thing?
I'm not sure of all that it does, but I know dispatch is very happy with it. They've been using it for a while. And then we looked at it, and the people that looked, I didn't look at it, but the people that looked at it said it'd be very helpful. So, because we have several lines, we have 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., 2 p.m. to midnight, 5 p.m. to 3 a.m., 9 p.m. to 7. So there's several different shifts. So it just plugs everybody in there, and you can do it ahead of time, so you can see for vacation purposes and time off and whatnot. So be very helpful.
Any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And then, this was not on the agenda, I don't believe, because we just found out about it Friday. But, there was a grant opportunity through, Rob York's office with the opioid settlement funds. And, every county could, request up to $175,000. So we put in for, and I think we talked about it at one prior meeting. We put in for a portion of that money for a new position. There was no guarantee that you were gonna get it. And what we're looking for is a licensed social worker type position. And I think I've talked about this before, where they could actually work part-time at our office and review cases that are currently going on, especially the people that are in mental health crisis or opioid related addiction. And they can follow up on those individuals after the cases, because our deputies just run from call to call to call all day. So a lot of times they'll go to an overdose, for instance, and then we won't be able to go back and check on that person or the family and see how they're doing and see how the person's doing and see if they have what they need. And as important is the number of mental health crisis situations that we're seeing. Almost every day now, it's almost every day. And some of them are very serious, some of them involve weapons, and this person would also be able to just jump in a car with a deputy and go to those type of calls, be able to use their experience and expertise to deal with people that are, mental health crisis much better than a deputy. And hopefully, the hope is that they'll be able to de-escalate the situation where we don't have to use any kind of force to get the person, if we're gonna do a mental health 941 case where we bring someone to EHU in order to go to mental health. Hopefully that will assist. It's $175,000, and it's, if we do it on a part-time basis, I'm assuming that this will cover for a certain amount of time. I haven't done, like I said, I just got this word Friday, so we haven't really mapped it out as far as that will reach, but my intention is to see how this was the first hurdle. It's not finalized yet, but if it is awarded to us, then we would just use that money, like say, for over a 3-year period and see how this position works out. If it does work out and the money is exhausted, then I would go back to the board and say, hey, this is what we've been doing and either afford it or we can't. So.
Sheriff says to be for one person.
Yes.
So would they be on a call basis? Is that, because you have 24/7, so these things just don't all happen during the daytime. Some could happen at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. So is that person going to be able to? Because I know you said jump in a car and go with them.
Yeah, it would be both. So there would be, that's why we keep it part-time. So whether it's 2 to 3 days in the office, and then also be on call if they're not at our office, if they're at other.
I know you just had a call this weekend to report in, that could come in handy.
Yeah, it's every day, to be honest with you.
Sure, this is there a match associated with this, correct?
No,
Sheriff, it's the same position. I think part of the conversation was also looking more of the deputies. I
we
mean,
might have talked about it at the same time, the officer wellness. program.
yeah, the officer ones.
Yeah, that's it's separate from this,
Okay.
but it's out of the same money, the same
Okay.
source.
Thank you.
Sheriff, is this a contracted position? It's not putting somebody on the payroll, it's contracting outside.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sheriff, do you have any hostage negotiators?
We do. Well, we have, I think we have 2 that have been through the training.
You ever use those guys in that situation?
Yeah. And that's usually, that's when it's really bad, when there's, there's obviously weapons involved and that kind of stuff, but that's why we want to get someone like this prior to that, is somebody in there, because usually those type of situations come from several other encounters that we've had with people, so.
We're gonna bring him to the budget meetings, Supervisor Hunt.
Brian will wear him down.
Good plan.
We should bring Brian in.
I know their tricks though.
No, we want them to get better.
Wear him right now.
We don't need any action on this at this moment. do we?
No, I just wanted to
Oh, it's
make
just-
you guys understand.
Okay. Anything else we need?
At this point, we need a brief executive session. Wait, before we do that, Sheriff, do you want to talk about Eden today?
As far as,
Authorizing prepayment on the nursing contract.
oh, yes. I thought I was mistaken that, we had done that, but it was,
It was only on the behavioral health.
the issue part, yeah. So as you know, we contracted with the Eden Center for nursing staff now, so we retained our staff. They don't work for us anymore, contracted with Eden now. Eden is, they work for Eden Center, so the one issue that came up is being able to pay them, kind of prepay them monthly. Contract. There was a little confusion, and they sent me vouchers for payment, which was quarterly, and it was a Friday, and they had to have them in by Monday. So they really didn't have time to correct this and get them in right. So they're kind of behind the 8 ball on that. So in talking with the treasurer to kind of alleviate that problem in the future, I'd like to request that the board allows them to be prepaid monthly for the nursing services as we're doing with the BHU services. So we're already doing that with the BHU portion, but the nursing kind of came after that. So I would like to request that we be able to prepay them on a monthly basis, yes.
On a monthly basis?
Yes,
Monthly.
Thanks, Ray. Is that a part of the nursing contract?
yes.
Yes.
So we just be going along with what we've already agreed?
Well, it doesn't say,
Right now, on our procurement policy or voucher policy, excuse me, the word services rendered in there. So technically, our policy prohibits the sheriff from paying for July until August. That creates a little bit of a burden to the vendor in providing and making payroll. We already have agreed to do this with the behavioral health service contract. This was just something that it makes sense to pay this one the same way, to ensure that the vendor is able to provide that service.
But that's part of the contract we agreed to with
Yes.
the nurse.
Yeah. Yes.
So we're just following. the
This
contract.
this ask is a request for the committee to give an exception to the voucher policy for this contract.
I'll make that motion.
Does it go to finance?
No,
Does not go to finance.
goes to full board. I think it needs a full board resolution.
Because we have to do that with the.
You just did it recently for the behavioral health services, this will be the same.
I told them it wouldn't be,
I'll second Harold.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, to move this to the full board. Any more discussion on it?
Thank you, Sharon.
Did I get
You
your
first.
question? So the service provider can't meet payroll unless we do?
Well,
So
my understanding is it creates a burden on them.
It might not us too.
they're the business provider, they should, in real world, we should make sure they're funded well enough. To carry that, we should pay after it. Would be my thought. We don't prepay our employees.
And now I would say for educational purposes, this isn't a pro or con. For this vendor who is a mental health service provider. So all of the Rob York programs that Rob York will be at HHS tomorrow. All of the programs that he provides are all prepaid quarterly, right? So I think this vendor comes from that world, so they're used to that business model. I can't speak for the vendor whether or not they're liquid enough to cover payroll or not. I think that they look at this contract the same way as the behavioral health service contract. And again, I can't speak for the vendor, but their request was to be paid the same way that they're paid for their other contract.
I have a question, Al, if we are prepaying and then all shifts aren't filled, do we get reimbursed or do we get it knocked off to them? They don't happen to fill all the shifts that we prepay them for.
And that, Actually, a question for the sheriff. I haven't read the language of the contract yet.
So the contract says that they'll provide us with a report, so, I can request that, be specific in the report, that number of shifts.
And we kind
I
of do
mean, I
that,
don't mind prepaying as long as we're prepaying for everything we get. We should, that we get everything we're prepaying for. We say that.
we do that supervisor with the SBO contract. So if you want to be the sheriff to do a true up, we could actually agree to that as well. We kind of do that with the SPO contracts now. And we could use that same model for Eden Center if you wanted us to.
Scott, you were,
I'm not a fan of the prepay because we're in a situation where we should hold on to our money as long as we can. You know, the more we have, the more we can earn. You know, we may be talking about dollars, but we need every dollar we can get right now. So if we're not required by contract, I say they wait till the services are rendered.
damn,
Sheriff, I can't remember, how many more other providers do we have that applied for this service?
For the nursing or for the,
The ones
they,
that- what we're
this-
talking about now.
oh, so actually, it's been a good transition for us. We had 3 separate medical situations going on. We had, Hudson Headwaters was doing medical part, so they were sending the doctors. BHU was formerly Glens Falls Hospital. And then the nurses, as you all know, were for the county. So Hudson Headwaters, we didn't renew the contract. It was the request. And same with Glens Falls Hospital. So it left us in a bind. So we needed to find a medical provider, a BHU provider. And then in doing that, I wanted to find if they could also take over our nursing staff so that it's all under one umbrella instead of 3 separate, or in this case, nursing staff that still work for the county. And there's just a lot, there's a lot that goes with that. So
But what I agree with what Scott's saying, however, if we have no other provider to provide the service,
no,
We did an RFP.
no, and historically, as Treasurer stated, these contracts were prepaid to Hudson Headwaters and to Glens Falls Hospital. And they provided the doctors and all that, so I think Eden is the same kind of contractor. We just didn't specify in the contract that it would be prepaid monthly. Which does put them in a bind.
Sure, from our conversations, I thought it was more than just a request from them. I thought they really couldn't upfront that payroll unless we were to do this, correct? Like, they can't
Yeah,
provide the services.
yeah, I mean, he understands as it is, if this were to go through, that he's not gonna get paid until the 3rd week in August.
And that's more than just a hardship. I thought he couldn't,
Well,
like, it was like, maybe they can't provide the service then.
it would be difficult for him, yeah, for sure, that's what he said.
So we could be hurting ourselves?
Well, 100%, yeah. And like I said, now we've been contracted with him, so he's gonna have to pay July and almost all of August up front, or not up front. He's gonna have to pay that, what he thought that it's could be prepaid like the other. Or, but we have done that with Glens Falls Hospital and, Hudson Headwaters, and we are doing that with Eden on the BHU portion. So this is just for the nursing services.
Are they covering all shifts?
Yeah,
So are they able to do that?
actually have been, yeah, it's been good. It's good to have it all in one, that there's no county employees, so to speak, it's all contracted services. And actually having a, new set of eyes come in has been extremely helpful, especially with staff.
okay, we have a motion to move this to the full board and second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
We need to do a very brief executive session. Questions regarding photos pen under current litigation.
Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Scott, second by Daryl. All in favor?